Good evening, everybody. Good evening, family. Wow, what an honor it is once again to be with you this evening. Today, I just want us to talk about something real quick. I want us to talk about God's process and how the process actually works. Because I know, just like me, that many of you have received a spoken word into their lives. They have received a promise into their lives. And since they've received the word, since they've received the promise, they haven't seen an actual change, or they haven't actually experienced what they expected to experience. Because when we receive a prophecy, or when a prophecy is spoken into our lives, or when a spoken word or a promise is spoken into our lives, then immediately we begin to think, oh, well, we're going to begin to see the change the next day. Oh, well, things are going to start moving immediately thereafter. And that's not what happens. Months go by, days go, years go by, and you'll be questioning yourself, did I hear correctly? Was it even God that spoke? There's many questions that come into our minds, because it's natural for us to begin to doubt when we don't begin to see what was promised manifest into our lives immediately. Now, there's something that I realized in my own life, and I want you to take this journey with me through your mind and understand how God works, because it will help you to understand how God is working in your own life. You see, from the moment that the spoken word is uttered into your life, that the promise is administered into your life, yes, it is true. It is what God is beginning to do in your life. But it is how He is doing it that we fail to understand, because where we expect the promotion to be immediate, where we expect the marriage to be immediate, where we expect the pregnancy to be immediate, the healing to be immediate, it is not always so. It differs from situation to situation. It differs from circumstance to circumstance, but we need to understand the process. Now, I want to give you an example with me personally. There was a time where I had a dream, and I could see myself in my dream being promoted. Now, obviously, I began to walk in a different way. I used to dress in a different and talk in and associate with people in a different way, because now I have been shown where I am going. I've been shown where God wants to place me. And obviously now my body is reacting to what my mind now knows. So my everything about me changed, because now there is an expectation, because there's a word I've received, and immediately I wanted to begin to translate into my life. But that's not how the process works. You see, God is not an overnight, it's not an instant miracle worker. For example, you're not going to wake up one day and find 100 million in your account. That's not how God works. He is a God of permanence, meaning that His transformation that takes place within you to get you to who and where you need to be is a permanent process. Now, I'll give you a good example of that. A good example of that would be where you are expecting a promotion. Now, if God gives you a promotion where He has not situated you, or He's not given you favor with those who you have to work with, and you're promoted to being a manager or a leader or a CAO or a CFO, now the people that have to serve under you, they won't respect you, because they won't understand, or they won't fully accept your promotion, because they would not have witnessed the process. Now, what God does is He allows you to go through the process, but He gives you favor, so that as you are going through the process, you don't go through it just like any ordinary man. Meaning that He gives you opportunities to begin to show yourself and to show your growth, so that all of those around you can see that you are promoted by a special grace of God, yes, but they must also be able to see or to realize that you are deserving of the promotion. You see, when God is calling, He's qualifying those who He is calling. The qualification is not that He changes you over overnight. No. The qualification is that he begins to transform you and to position you in a place where you are able to access or to become who you need to be, so that you can learn what you need to know in order to occupy the rightful seat. Now, if you are meant to be promoted to be a manager or to be promoted to the head of whatever company, wherever, what God will then begin to do is he'll begin to give you favor in the eyes of those who are in authority, favor in the eyes of those whom you have to work with, favor in the eyes of those who will have to serve you. So God positions you in such a way that you begin to absorb information, you begin to absorb knowledge and to gain favor. When we are talking about favor with God and men, that is where the concept then now interplays, to say that God will not just make you sleep today in one position and wake up tomorrow in another position, because then your promotion will not have it will not be permanent. You will be stuck in a trap, because you will be in a position where you don't know what to do, or you don't know how to carry yourself. What God does is he prepares you, he cooks you, he will sharpen you, he'll trim what he needs to trim off and add what he needs to add, so that by the time you get to where you need to be, you are fully equipped, you are fully knowledgeable about whatever you will need to carry out. We need to understand the process. We need to understand the process and the importance of the process, because as a leader, as whatever position you need to occupy, you will need favor with God, yes, but you will also need favor with men. Now, God will position you and grant you that special favor, so that when you're walking and living amongst people, you have that favor. But don't expect it to be an overnight instant miracle wherein you go to bed poor and wake up rich. That's not how God works. God does it in such a way that his hand can be seen, so that his glory can be go to him for whatever he will be doing in your life. But don't think that you will skip the process. You have to go through the process before you become the head. Before you can lead, you must be a follower. And until you have followed, until you have learned what you need to learn, until you understand what you need to understand, God won't throw you into a position he has not prepared you for. Now, when we are talking about God qualifying those whom he calls, that is what we are talking about. He creates a path for us that allows us to learn all the skills, all the knowledge, have the correct interaction with the necessary people, so that we can be who we need to be, so that we can live out our destinies. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It is a process. And most of us, this is where we fail. We don't understand that it is a process. It is a process to get to where we need to be. It is a process for us to have what we need to have. It is not an overnight miracle. It's not instant like 2-minute noodles. You need to understand how the things of God work. God is processing. Since he has spoken that promise, look at what has begun to happen in your life. He has situated you and located you in places where in an ordinary instance you would not even have relations with those people, but God has brought them close to you. God has poured a favor onto you that your managers love you. Your bosses just love you. They just want to train you. They just want to pick you up. And everybody around you just respects you. So that when you do finally occupy that position, you will not struggle. You will not deal with characters that do not want to be, because there's nothing worse than being a manager or being a boss of a company, and then now the people, they don't like you. They're always fighting you. They think they don't understand how you got to that position. We don't want it to be a fly-by-night miracle where then people begin to question your integrity. They begin to question your power or your authority or your knowledge. God does it in such a way that as you are rising, that you're attaining the necessary knowledge and making the necessary connections. And that is where we then begin to talk about your destiny helpers, that they are in the right position to help you. So the process is just as necessary as the outcome. The process is just as necessary as the outcome. Don't ever feel like, oh, this process is dragging. Oh, I don't want to go through this. Why do I need to go? It is all necessary. It is all shaping you to be who you need to be. You use that opportunity to learn and absorb as much as you can, and continue to humble yourself so that God can continue to lift you up. That's all. It is a process to get to where you need to be. It's not an overnight thing. So continue to trust God, yes, but also appreciate the process. Everything around you will begin to see it's taking shape as it should. You are being prepared to occupy the position that you need to prepare. If you are meant to become a wife to somebody, God starts to cook you. He starts to reveal characters that should not be around you. He begins to reveal to you character attributes that counter who you need to become. God is positioning you, and it is a process. So appreciate and respect the process. Don't just run for the outcome or for the results. The process is important so that when you finally do get to the final destination, you are well equipped to carry out. When we are talking about special grace, special favor from God, the opportunities that are awarded to us are those that every other person would want. They get through other connections. They get through nepotism. They get through sleeping around. They get them through fraud. They get them through corruption. But for us children of God, we get these positions by the special favor and the special mercy and the special grace of God. So we must always appreciate the process, because it's making it so that when we get to our final destination where we need to be, we are ready to occupy the seat. We are ready to lead. We are ready. We have the information. We have the experience. We have the insight. And yes, because of the special grace of God, what took others many years to do, you will do in a short period of time. What took other people years to learn, you will learn in a short period of time. The favor that it took others to obtain with their bosses, and you will obtain in a short period of time. Why? Because of the special mercy and the favor of God. But listen, you cannot jump the process. You cannot just want the results and not want the process. Every single thing that you go through is necessary. Every single pain that you go through in your life is necessary. Every trial is necessary. Every betrayal, every disappointment, all of it is working. That's why the word of God says, all things work together for good. To those who love and serve the Lord, everything is necessary. That clap you got from whoever is necessary. That rumor is necessary. That betrayal, every single thing is necessary to sift and to shape and to teach you and to mold you so that you can become who you need to become. All of it is necessary. The process is necessary for you to become who you need to be, for you to accomplish what you need to accomplish. Allow yourself to go through the process. I've seen so many people who have received a word from God and they lose faith the next week because it was spoken and it didn't happen. What about the process? What about the process? You know, there are steps in life that you just can't skip. You can't afford to skip them. And that's unfortunately how life works. When you were born, when you were created, God knew what you were going to become. God knew where you would end up, but there's a process that you need to go through. There are people that need to come into your life, some for a season, some for a reason, but either way, for no matter what reason they have come into your life, they have come to teach you something, to help you to become one step closer to becoming who you need to be, so that you can be fully efficient and fully effective in whatever God has planned for your life. So trust and appreciate the process. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying you need to trust the process. You have to go through the process. Imagine when a patient is going to the doctor and they're struggling with some sort of sickness and the doctors give them antibiotics. Yes, they begin to feel better after taking it maybe for a day or two, but they need to finish finish the course, because that antibiotic must be taken until it is finished for it to be fully effective. Think of that same mentality when you are applying it in becoming a somebody, when you're applying it into becoming a wife, becoming a boss, becoming a CEO, CFO, whatever it is that God has promised you. You need to take your antibiotics and finish them. You need to finish the process. You need to go through it all so that at the end of the day, you can take your rightful position and everybody around you will be clapping, because they will see that indeed you have persevered, you have grown, you have matured, and you deserve it. Then the people will be with you. Their favor will be for you and not against you. If you just wake up tomorrow and you are promoted, yet you don't have the skills, you don't have the experience, you don't have the know-how, who is it that is going to respect you? That same blessing that you would have gotten will become a curse. So respect and appreciate the process. All things work together for good. The little things, the things that seem useless, they are working together for good. Every single thing, every betrayal, every no, every not this time is working for your good. Appreciate the process. Appreciate the process. Don't just run for the results. Appreciate the process. And I want you to go through the full course. Take your antibiotics until the end, so that you can be fully effective. You can be a vessel that can be fully used in the kingdom of God. Don't take shortcuts. Don't take shortcuts, because shortcuts always lead to incomplete growth, incomplete maturity. Now, here is an individual who is a pastor of a church, but they are not spiritually ready. Here is a boss of a company, but they are not well equipped for the job. Here is a wife, but she's not ready to be a wife. Why? Because they've taken shortcuts. They wanted to do things the easy way. They wanted to do things the fast way. So you know what God does? He lets you go through the process. With Sarah, she got pregnant at a late age. Yes, it was a miracle for her to get pregnant. But did she give birth the next day? No. Because people would reject that miracle if it was too instant. But because she went throughout the whole process, my God, God was able to mold her. God was able to make her the mother she would need to be by the time she gave birth. The process is there for a reason. Yes, the spoken word is true. That prophecy is true. That whatever it is that God has spoken into your life, it is true and it will happen. Everything that is happening in your life since that day until now is shaping you and molding you and preparing you for that moment where you need to occupy that seat. For that moment where you need to carry out and fulfill that calling. All things are working together for good. Don't get tired. Don't get weary. The disappointments, the challenges, the mountains, the uphill climbs, everything that has made you feel like maybe I did not hear right. Maybe I won't be successful. Maybe I will never have children. Maybe it is the process. Love and appreciate the process as much as you want the results. The process is what makes you who you are when you get to where you need to be. The process will define who you will be as you are sitting on that throne. The process is worth it. Jesus Christ could have just been born and died the next day without going through all of those years of the 30 years of living as an ordinary human being. For what? For the process. There is a process that needs to be carried out for to bring the call and the will of God to completion. You are just going through the process. Don't give up. It's just you're going through the process. Allow the process to take its full course, so that come the appointed time, you are well, good, and ready to take your rightful place. And you would have found favor, not just with God, favor with men as well, which will make it easier for you to occupy your seat, which will make it easier for you because you will by then have the support of everybody that you need to have. The process is important. We love the results, but we forget the importance of the process, because the results are nothing without the process. Speak to a president who does not have the support of his cabinet members. Speak to a king who does not have the respect of his people. Speak to a principal whom the teachers don't listen to, the students are rebellious. Speak to a head of a family, a head of a company, where there is no order because they don't respect that specific individual. It is important to go through the processes. It is very important to obtain the support, to obtain, the favor with the people as you are climbing, so that your support structure can be strong. Because at the end of the day, you are working with people, you are living with people. You need to trust the process. Trust the process more than anything. I just want to encourage you. Today, I didn't want to preach. I just wanted to talk to you to understand that no matter what you're going through, there is a reason for the process. There is a reason why you're going through whatever you are going through. All things, every single thing works together for good. So please do yourself a favor. Stop worrying. Stop stressing. Stop living ahead. Live in the moment, and every single day, be present. Show up for yourself. Do your best. Be your best all the time. And absorb as much information as you humanly can. You will see how far it will get you. Don't just rush for the results. Trust the process. Love you guys so much. We will definitely catch up very, very soon. And I hope this has encouraged you not to give up no matter what you're going through.